Japan had long been the stage for kaiju attacks, towering monsters wreaking havoc on the island nation as frequently as natural disasters. Saya, a small and slim 21-year-old web influencer, was known for her outgoing personality and her incredible ability to consume massive amounts of food. She had built a successful YouTube channel around mukbang, the Korean trend of eating large quantities of food while interacting with her audience. Her cozy Tokyo apartment was equipped with professional lighting, cameras, and a kitchen stocked with every type of food imaginable. Her audience loved to challenge her with daring food feats, and Saya never backed down. She lined up the tray of eggs in front of her and started eating, her chat buzzing with encouragement and disbelief. As she neared the last few eggs, one of her viewers dared her to swallow an egg whole. Saya, ever the showwoman, grinned and picked up the largest egg on the tray. It had a strange iridescent sheen, but she was too caught up in the moment to notice. "All right, here goes nothing," she said, and with a quick tilt of her head she swallowed the egg whole. Her viewers erupted in cheers and disbelief. Little did she know that egg wasn't just any ordinary egg. It was a kaiju egg that somehow ended up getting mixed in, and her life was about to change forever. Over the next few days, Saya noticed a dramatic increase in her appetite. No matter how much she ate, she was always hungry. Her mukbang videos became even more popular as she devoured enormous amounts of food with ease. Fans began calling her Mama Kaiju because of her seemingly insatiable hunger. "Saya, how do you eat so much?" her best friend Yumi asked one evening. Yumi was a tall, elegant woman with a knack for high fashion. She'd been Saya's confidant and supporter since high school, helping with the marketing aspects of her videos and managing the merchandise business that was booming due to Saya's newfound fame. "I don't know, Yumi," Saya replied, patting her still flat stomach. "It's like I have a black hole in here. I just can't get full." Despite her growing fame, Saya couldn't shake the feeling that something strange was happening to her. She felt a constant gnawing hunger that no amount of food could satisfy for very long. Saya had always admired Kaito, another popular influencer who specialized in fitness and extreme sports. Kaito was tall, athletic, and had a charming smile that made Saya's heart race. She had a huge crush on him, but he barely knew she existed. One day, after a particularly successful mukbang video, Saya received a message from Kaito. Her heart skipped a beat as she read it. "Hey Saya, I've been watching your videos. You're amazing. Would you like to collaborate on a video sometime?" Saya was ecstatic. She immediately replied, agreeing to the collaboration. They began spending more time together, and Saya couldn't believe her luck. But as her feelings for Kaito grew, she started drifting away from Yumi and her childhood friend, Renji. Renji had always been there for Saya. They had grown up together, and he had a crush on her for as long as he could remember. He helped her with her videos, often operating the camera and handling the technical side of things, but as Saya spent more time with Kaito, she began to take Renji's help for granted. "Hey, Saya, do you need help with tomorrow's video?" Renji asked one evening. "No, it's okay, Renji," Saya replied, barely looking up from her phone. "Kaito is helping me out." Renji's heart sank. He could see Saya slipping away, and there was nothing he could do about it. One day, while filming a mukbang at a popular Tokyo restaurant, the ground suddenly shook. The sound of sirens began ringing in the distance, which everyone knew is a clear sign of a kaiju attack. Diners screamed and scrambled for cover as a massive kaiju emerged from the sea and was heading straight for Saya's current location. The monster is squid-like, with both legs and tentacles for arms, an octopus head, and tentacles that hang from its lower face like a long beard. Saya's eyes widened in fear as the beast smashed through the building next door, causing some of the debris to hit the restaurant, collapsing the roof and ceiling, destroying her meal. Her fear turned to anger. "Damn kaiju! I was eating that!" she said. She felt an unfamiliar surge of power coursing through her veins, fueled by a burning rage. A strange, powerful wind began to swirl and blow her surroundings, lifting debris into the air. Her eyes glowed a dim yellow color. The kaiju roared and lashed out at another building nearby. Saya, propelled by an instinct she didn't understand, leaped from the rubble high in the air as if flying and punched the monster with all her might. The force of her blow tore the kaiju in half, sending the two large pieces crashing to the ground, dead. The entire chaotic scene was captured on her live stream as her camera somehow survived, though her face was obscured by some dirt on both the lens and her face. She was so hungry still, she ate a piece of the kaiju before coming to her senses and fleeing before anyone could see her face. The internet buzzed with speculation about the mysterious figure who had defeated the kaiju. People dubbed her the Kaiju Eater, marveling at her strength and the fact that she had seemingly eaten part of the monster. In the aftermath of the attack, Saya noticed more changes in herself. She felt stronger, her senses sharper, and her eyes glowed a bright yellow hue whenever she got angry or hungry. Despite these changes, she tried to maintain a semblance of normalcy, continuing her mukbang videos and enjoying her newfound fame. One evening, while walking home from a shoot, she encountered a group of thugs who began harassing her. Annoyed and hungry, she fought back, easily defeating them. They were beaten so badly, most of them ended up in the hospital. One in particular wound up in intensive care. It was as if she had the strength of a kaiju crammed into her body. She later learned that these were not just thugs, they were part of a Yakuza family, and one of them was the son of the head boss. The Yakuza boss, a formidable man named Kenzo Yamamoto, was disturbed when he heard the details of what happened. His right hand pleaded for revenge, and Kenzo reluctantly agreed to let him take a bigger group to teach Saya a lesson. Worried about the changes in her body, Saya decided to seek medical help. She went to the hospital and underwent an MRI, but the machine kept malfunctioning due to the kaiju's energy emissions from within, increasing her natural electromagnetic field in response to the machine. After an X-ray, however, the doctors informed her that there was something in her stomach they couldn't identify. It had fused with her body beyond surgery, and further tests revealed she was sharing brain activity and her nervous system with the organism. Despite the unusual findings, they assured her she wasn't in immediate danger, and she actually seemed to be benefiting from the symbiotic relationship. Frightened and confused, Saya left the hospital, unsure of what to do next, and would ultimately keep the news to herself, choosing rather to keep up appearances. As Saya's fame grew, Kaito started showing more interest in her. They spent a lot of time together, and Saya was thrilled to be with him. However, she began to neglect Yumi and Kenji, who felt increasingly sidelined. One evening, after a successful collaboration with Kaito, Saya overheard him talking to one of his friends. "Yeah, she's great for views as soon as people lose interest in that gluttonous pig." "I'm out of here," Kaito said. "I'll keep her around as long as she's useful." Saya's heart shattered. She realized that Kaito had been using her for his own gain and cared nothing for her personally. Distraught, she confronted him, and he didn't deny it. "You're famous now, Saya. You don't need your old friends anymore," Kaito said, his tone dismissive. Saya felt a wave of anger and betrayal. She literally grabbed him by the throat and jacked him up, eyes glowing. Kaito cried out, "What the hell are you?" "I can't believe I ever liked you," said Saya, staring at a now frightened Kaito with all his earlier confidence spilled away. She lowers Kaito. "You're not worth my time, you parasite," said Saya. Kaito stumbles to his feet and runs away, yelling, "Freak!" After things ended with Kaito, Saya thought to try and apologize to Renji and Yumi, but felt too guilty to even dial the number. When Saya arrived home, she found her apartment ransacked and a note on the wall. "If you want your friends back, come to the abandoned railway alone." Her heart ached as she realized both Renji and Yumi had been taken. Confident in her new abilities, she headed to the abandoned railway, determined to save them. When she arrived, she found them tied up, unconscious, and surrounded by Yakuza thugs. "Let them go!" she demanded. The thugs attacked with crowbars and bats, but she brushed them aside with ease. Just as she was about to untie Yumi, Kenzo appeared, his eyes glowing a bright, brilliant red hue. "So, you're Saya," said Kenzo. Saya is taken aback by his eyes. "You think you're the only one?" he sneered. Out of nowhere, he closes the distance and backhands her through a wall. "I'm a humanoid kaiju like you, but unlike you, I managed to take over my human host completely," said Kenzo, now a kaiju. The kaiju in Saya begins to stir. Kenzo's muscles grew as he transformed. But Saya re-emerged from the rubble, her eyes blazing with determination. They exchanged blows, with Saya struggling to keep up. Kenzo taunted her, telling her she didn't know how to fully tap into her kaiju power, since she was still just half human. Saya gets punched to the ground and knocked unconscious, with Kenzo standing over her, stomping her to death. Inside her mind, Saya found herself in a vast, dark space. A voice called out to her, and a shadowy figure emerged, looking exactly like her, but with white hair and glowing yellow eyes. "I am the kaiju inside you," the figure said. "I've quite enjoyed our delicious meals," said the kaiju. "You're inside me? Wait, "You're a kaiju," said Saya. "That's right, and our relationship is symbiotic. You consume food for us, and we in turn give you the strength and power we otherwise would have had in our adult form," the kaiju explained. "But why don't you grow? Are you going to burst out of me eventually?" said Saya. "No. All that we would have become as a full-grown kaiju is converted to physical strength for us. We are no longer capable of achieving a full adult kaiju form," said the kaiju. "Why do you keep saying we?" said Saya. "Because we are one. We have always been since you fed me," the kaiju replied. "How are you speaking? Aren't kaiju just beasts?" Saya asked. "Some of us are, and some are not, depending on what category and echelon they fall into. Some of us are intelligent in the higher ranks," said the kaiju. "This can't be real," said Saya in disbelief. "Now is not the time for that. We need to defeat this kaiju who has taken over this human, or we both will die," said the kaiju. "To defeat him, we must use more of our power, but in return, we must continue to feed us delicious meats." Saya hesitated, but thinking of Renji, she agreed. Saya's body began healing at high speed as Kenzo prepared to finish her off. A burst of air shot out from her, pushing him back. Her hair turned white, and wings of cloud formed at her back. She floated upright, ready to fight. Kenzo took a fighting stance, but Saya moved so much faster than Kenzo could react that she was already in front of him before he noticed. She punched him into the air, met him mid-flight, and hammer-fisted him into the ground, creating a crater. He tapped into more power, but Saya flicked her finger, creating a shockwave that tore off his arm. Screaming in pain and disbelief, he tried to attack again, but she countered with a barrage of punches, inflicting fatal damage with each blow. Kenzo, now on his knees, says, "How are you this strong? You're just a defect." "Don't tell me you're that high up," said Kenzo. Saya only gives a smirk and finally raises her hand, then swiftly thrusts it down, creating a shockwave of air which obliterates him completely, ending the fight. Saya returned to normal and untied Renji and Yumi, who had been unconscious throughout the battle. The surviving Yakuza members fled, and Saya carried both Renji and Yumi home unbeknownst to them. A month later, after completing another massive mukbang video, Saya was approached by a man in the restaurant. He introduced himself as Agent Takeda and explained that he worked for a government agency that monitored Kaiju's activity. "We've been watching you, Saya," he said. "We could use someone with your abilities for a new division we're forming, filled with others like you. Would you like to join us in our efforts to protect Japan from the kaiju threat?" Saya looked at him, considering the offer. She thought of her journey, the changes she had undergone, and her responsibility to use her powers to protect those who could not protect themselves. "Will there be good food?" she said with a grin on her face as her eyes dimly flared yellow. Thus began Saya's new life as a protector and kaiju fighter, embracing her identity online as Mama Kaiju and using her incredible abilities to protect her country. Please help support this channel and my growth as a new science fiction writer by liking and subscribing to this channel. I have much to learn, so please join me on my writing journey as I progress with my content. Let me know what you think about this short story and leave your positives and negatives in the comments below. Hope to see you in the next story.